All right. Oh, looky there. Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's DLLS Cowboys Podcast. The hay is in the barn, except apparently it's not in the barn, and it's somewhere in transit because we don't know who's coaching the Cowboys. But all eyes are on Jerry and Mike McCarthy and what's going to happen, and we got a game to break down. So strap in for the DLLS Cowboys Podcast, which starts here we go. Season's over. Welcome to draft season. Although we're not talking about the draft today, but welcome to draft season. Get horned up, baby. 12th overall pick. 12th overall pick would have been 16th if you didn't let them score at the end. So shout out to Deron Bland, who understood the assignment. Play good football all day. Make it tough on Scary Terry. Let him have one at the end. Keep us at number 12.
Was it really Bland or was it Hooker?
It was Bland. Hooker just let Mariota run for a while he was doing this.
I mean, it could have been.
While he was doing his, was it John Carlos?
Could have forced him into a field goal.
Tommy, what was the guy's name? Tommy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can find it. Smith.
Tommy Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'll let you know.
I got you covered. There you
go. Jeff, I want another rant today. I'm retired from ranting. I will never rant again. I will never rant again.
I got something for you, Jeff.
No, you don't have anything for me. Leave me alone. I'm on a nicotine patch. I don't have my tobacco, and I never will ever again. And Jesse, of all people, knows.
This stuff is nasty. Good job. Proud of you.
Jesse, of all people, knows it can make me snippy.
Yep.
Proud of you.
Jesse is fasting.
Yeah.
So we're going to fight today.
We might literally fight.
Punch him.
Day 6 for me. No food.
Punch him.
You're a psycho. If he don't let you in heaven, I'm going to have words with him.
I mean, I'm making up for a multitude of other sins in my lifetime that I've still looking.
What is Clarence doing?
I'm just trying to figure out how Jeff can be able to have words with him.
I talked to him. I might. You don't know. I might.
With him.
I'm
going to have words with Jeff. You're going to be down there, okay?
The die has been cast. The hay's in the barn.
My name is Jeff. I mean, I like hot better than cold. Next to me is former Cowboy wide receiver Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Next to him is the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Clarence Hill.
If you want to win, put pop.
What's your
Hook 'em, baby. Hook 'em, baby. Hook 'em, baby.
What your boys going to do this week?
Gonna beat some Ohio State butt.
Ooh.
Oh, what a game. It's going to be multiple of the guys that I want the Cowboys to pick in the first round on that field. Oh, it's going to be good. Keep your eyes on Kelvin Banks Jr., the left tackle for the University of Texas. Keep your eyes on Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver for Ohio State University. Next to Clarence is the greatest beat writer in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, Joe Hoyt.
Tell him something, Joe.
You know who else are we watching that game? Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones together. Talk about the future. What?
The last time they were together was at Super Bowl, and Micah urged Jerry to go get me
Mozzie Smith.
Hey, when those two guys are together, great things happen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You know who also not going to be there on Friday?
Oh, dude. I know you too well. Yeah, the Ducks.
Oh, yeah, I'm just curious. He bought tickets.
I did buy tickets and then had to sell them for double the price. Damn. Oh, that's a big win. Yeah, that's a big win. Hey, who's going to coach the Cowboys next year? Is Mike McCarthy going to be around, Clarence? Well, what?
I don't think so. It's my feeling and talking to people that they will go another direction next week. But, of course, Jared's going to let this thing play out, and we'll see. I think just from his conversation last night, he wants to negotiate. he's talking about negotiating an incentive-laden deal. At least he's bringing up a hypothetical.
This is the setup. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. Hypothetical incentive-laden deal. Like,
yeah, I see what you're doing.
Is that reality, Jeff? I mean, can you really?
I hate you.
Can you really do that? I got one other thing for you.
Oh, okay.
He's the best effing GM in the league. He told us that.
Yeah.
He said, he was asked about whether they would change. He admitted mistakes, but asked about if they would change GMs, and he said, no. This is my job. It's my occupation. I bought this occupation. He bought this occupation as GM, so cut the bullshit. Okay, that's what he said. Bull crap. He said the S word. He was asked.
Well, so did you.
Turn around and say not the cuss word.
Edit that. What frustrates me, and I think Jeff can, put it all together for me here, is that he was as the best GM in the league.
Yeah.
Best damn effing GM in the league.
Yeah.
He was also asked about because the buck stops with him. He makes all the decisions. He was asked about the Cooper Rush incentive contract, right?
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He didn't know about it.
He didn't know about it. I did.
How does he not know about it, Jeff?
I'm laughing, guys, because you guys don't know that I know what was said in our pre-show meeting. And in the pre-show meeting, because Jeff is on the patch today, he's a little bit snippy, snap a little bit. Clarence is putting together a little Molotov cocktail, and he's just tossing it over me and landing it in the lap of Jeffrey Kavanaugh with this Jerry Jones topic. So, without further ado,
I thought we were going to talk about McCarthy.
We're going to let you answer.
Go ahead.
I don't want.
You want to?
TC, go ahead and put it on. You can
Yes.
put it on that camera if you could. I'm not prepared for this, but I think we can wing this.
Cook.
First of all, I don't know how to say part of it without being
Insensitive?
Yeah.
Disrespectful?
Yeah. When you're 82, you're not at your best anymore, and you shouldn't be in charge of anything. But after that, the way that he talked about negotiating an incentive-based contract, and not only that, he talked about Mike McCarthy, who was like, what if Mike McCarthy, his contract's up, he could go talk to other teams. He's like, well, he's welcome to do that. I want people who want to be here.
Right.
So the owner of the most expensive, most valuable franchise on planet Earth wants to negotiate a low-ball deal with a head coach who just sits on his front porch and begs for a job. And then he's like, I'll give you a job, but you can't have very much money, and it'll be tied to incentives. But by the way, there is no incentives for me. My incentive is actually to not spend money, so my net worth goes up. So I can do whatever I want to not build the ideal team, and then it's up to you to win all of the games while being not very well compensated. And if you do a great job and win all of the football games, then you could have some money. I hate that Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys. I love that Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys because you have so many things to talk about all the time. But if you were just interested in winning, I think it's absolutely embarrassing that he wants to treat the head coach position, which is really important, like an entry-level sales job. Like, oh, yeah. You can, if you get some stuff done, you can get some commission now. So while Andy Reid makes $20 million, other coaches make 18, 17, 16, 16, 15, 15. A lot of guys make that much. Mike McCarthy makes $4 million. It's part of the reason that I'm fine with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is an average, I believe, average to above average NFL coach. If you demand and want that the Cowboys have the best head coach in the NFL, like, I agree with you. I think my faith in the owner and GM has just been shaken so much that I know it'll never happen, because Jerry Jones, for having all of the wealth of the most valuable franchise in sports and all of his other companies, and the fact that he says I bought my position as GM, despite the fact that he's busy going on the show Landman to give 2.5-minute speeches while he's acting to talk about how proud he is that he bought something so that he could hang out with his family. The fact that it worked so well and you made so much and you've been so successful and you are so cheap. The NFL is a highly competitive situation.
A little bit.
You want to be the best at how you hire, at who you hire, at every single detail. And he said, nobody can do this better than me while I run 100 business, do some acting, underpay people, don't hire the best people, make sure that I'm working with my family so at the end of the day I feel fulfilled in life. Not that I did the best job for the company that I had. My God, it is infuriating. It is awful. It is terrible. He wants to not hire the best. He wants to hire somebody who's willing to work for him for cheap and is at his whim. And you can't be a good enough coach that other teams want you. No. I want you sitting on my front porch begging for the job to be lowballed. And maybe if you win the Super Bowl, you can make some decent money. Hire the best coach on the planet and write the check that you said you would write to win the Super Bowl. You lie to the fan base so much about what you would be willing to do. Jerry Jones so desperately wants to win a Super Bowl, but 5 times more than that. He so desperately wants to be wealthy, relevant, and right. That's all. But I don't want to. I don't want. I want to talk about.
Clarence.
Listen,
I want to talk about football. I like football.
Well,
I want to talk about the sport, and I want to talk about the draft, and I want to talk about free agency. But you've got the guy whose team is worth the most that is cheap, and it hurts.
We can't talk about football because Jerry talked for 40 minutes yesterday, which is not something a lot of people do. We can't talk about football because the Panthers made, their decisions on who they're bringing back. The Giants made their decisions on who they're bringing back. The Patriots had swift justice with Gerard Mayo. We don't know if Mike McCarthy's coming back. And then we're going to roll this out for a week. The hay is in the barn, to your point. We don't know where actually it is. We can't talk about football for those reasons.
And even the hay is in the barn. Like he said, the hay is in the barn. You know why? Because it's catchy.
It's very catchy.
And so it's catchy.
It's kind of like All In.
And I promise you, every sports show in America started with the hay is in the barn. What does Jerry Jones mean? And now you told us the hay is in the barn, which means you know what you're doing. But now you're not going to tell us while people are interviewing head coaching candidates, the best ones, to try to hire them. But you are going to milk it for headlines instead of going to try and hire the best coach. The business practices in a league that the margins are this. Between the Lions, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, the margins are this. And the Cowboys let this slip through 8 different cracks. They will never win the Super Bowl.
but you know whose fault that is?
Ours?
Ours. Yours. Ours.
No, we're victim blaming.
Ours. We're victim blaming.
We're victim
But the
blaming.
bottom line is he's allowed to do this because why?
He
You.
owns the team.
I blame you.
Because
Why don't you cuss him out all the time?
because what are they worth now? I mean, how many?
$10.8 billion.
$10.8 billion. They keep losing. They keep making money.
Yeah.
What's the incentive to change his
And
ways? What's the incentive to change his ways?
And
none.
the thing is you can, like, they're not, for all of the bitching and all of the ranting, I can't make the case that they're actually bad at doing it because 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, like they're generally a competitive football team that has a chance to win the division.
Yeah.
And so they,
And he pointed that out.
there are parts of their organization that are run well. I think Will McClay, I think the scouts, I think they do a good job. I think the difference again is this league is a league of margins. And the margin is if you draft and develop well, while some other teams draft and develop well. The difference is, even if you were healthy, that the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions added 4 starters in free agency and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So you're cheap, even if you had won 11, 12 games. There's a reason it peters out when you get to the playoffs because now we're talking about those margins.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's good versus good, and one of the good tried harder at making a good football team. And it's frustrating, and I love talking Cowboys football. I love talking NFL football. I love the draft and development, and I love everything about the sport. And I love covering the team that Jerry Jones owns, honestly, because there's so much content that comes from Jerry Jones. But if your sole goal is I'm a football fan and I want to see my team win the Super Bowl, I think you're screwed. I think you have no chance without a significant shift in either team building philosophy or who is making the decisions at the top. We're effed. We ain't winning it.
But I think you ran on Jerry Jones. You need to thank Jerry Jones. He's made you a rich man.
Whoa. He's trying to get
made
you again.
relevant.
He's
He
trying to get you
made
again.
you a rich man.
He's trying to get you again.
I mean,
His team.
I think that's true.
I know it's
true. Like, I got to build a career around the Cowboys.
Yes.
I mean, maybe I could have done it if I lived somewhere else and talking about football, but it wouldn't have gotten to grow as big of a following because the Cowboys are so popular. So I guess, thanks, Jerry. You're a beast.
You're a beast.
You're the best, bud. Coming up next, takeaways from the loss against the Commanders, things that are actually football involved on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
While Cowboy football may be over, football season is not done. We have college football still going on. The NCAA is jumping. Shows, theater, all comedy shows, all the things that you love to do. The Game Time app is where you need to go to get your tickets. Download the Game Time app right now. Use the promo code DLLS and get $20 off your first purchase. The Game Time has this feature called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filter out the fluff to show you the only incredible deals on great seats so that you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. If you don't have time for the fluff, and kind of like how Jerry Jones is doing this thing in the front office, and you want to get right to the willy-nilly of this thing, the margins are that small. Don't waste your time. Go ahead over and download the Game Time app. Use the promo code DLLS and get $20 off your first purchase. What time is it?
Game
time.
All right, shout out to our friends at Sleeper as well, the finest app in all the land. You're kind of doing your daily fantasy deal over there. So with Sleeper, what you do is you put your ball knowledge to the test, not just football, any sport. What you do is you're going to have every game, there's the projected stats for each player. And you just go in, you say, I think he's going to have more than that. And I think he's going to have less than that. I think Trey Lance is going to have more passing yards than projected, et cetera, et cetera. And you just make those picks. All you got to do is be right, be super smart about sports. And the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news, injuries, things like that. If you think you got what it takes, new users can download that Sleeper app. Use the code DLLSBOYS. You'll get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply it to any contest. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Operation in over 25 states, including Texas. Check out Sleeper today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, takeaways from a loss to the Washington Commanders where they played what I would call the perfect football game. Cowboys were competitive with a team that's supposed to be better than them, that had something to play for. They fought, they scrapped, they clawed, they bit, they did all the things, and they came up just short. It was perfect. I didn't lose draft positioning. I get to pick 12th instead of 16th. I pulled off the loss. But you did get to see a team that fought to the end. I know those words sound generic. Cowboys were a tough out for everybody, even though they were undermanned and had nothing to play for throughout the season. So kudos to them on that. But I just wanted to see individual things from the game that might have jumped out at anybody. Also, shout out to 2I, sitting where Joe was. Aisha Morrison is on set. Aisha, you want to kick us off? Observation from a Cowboys Commanders big hot L.
An observation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a. You know what? The nerve of you. When people have to say like disclaim, it better be funny for you. So the nerve of you. Some people. Anyway, Jeff, one thing that I noticed when I mentioned this yesterday on postgame was I felt like they wanted to utilize the speed on the team and get guys on the move, which ticks me off. And I might go on a rant just like you did, because I don't understand why you see Hunter Lipke do running back things and you see he can do things that are running back-esque, and then you don't use him for that all season.
Oh, because Jerry wanted to sell 15 jerseys with Ezekiel Elliott's name on the back.
Please. I mean, you see, again, like, I know that everyone has their ideals about Deuce Vaughn, but it's just like, dog, like, the acceleration, the speed, it is a totally different look than anybody else that we've seen touch the field out the backfield this year for them. But, that's probably the biggest thing I noticed is that they definitely seem like they're playing faster than what we've seen them play all year. And I'm sure that's partly Trey Lance getting guys the ball on the move. I feel like we got to see some of Tolbert's ability to get the ball on the move and do things in space. So, yeah, that's the one thing I noticed. And it kind of ticks me off, like I said, because I felt like you could have been doing things like that all season.
Y'all see the Deuce get loose? Huh?
I know that Jesse doesn't. I know Jesse's not like convinced he's
Did he get loose?
He's a
Did he?
a NFL level quarter running back, but at the same time, it's like
Clarence hates him too.
the balance, the
I
speed,
love
the
him as a
acceleration.
person.
Deuce got a little loose.
Did he get loose?
Yeah, he was getting like what, 5-6 yards a carry, maybe, something like that. I don't know.
I mean, with respect, that's just one of the better defensive lines in football. Your offensive line moved them off the ball at several points in the game, and Deuce has a decisiveness more decisive than when he first came in, to where when he sees it, he's just going and
6.2 a pop.
does something different than what other people can.
Championship play.
6.2 a pop. Okay, y'all want to hate on Deuce? That's fine. Jesse, take away
That's
from
fine. He doesn't like it.
from a Commander game.
For me, the penalties. And I think that was so glaring. And it's habitual and repeat offenders. When you have guys like Tyler Guyton and you have guys like Steele and Jake Ferguson, just the constant penalties over and over and over and over again. And that has been a thorn in the Cowboys' side, not just this season. It has been a thing
Always.
always.
Yeah, for a long time.
And that
I'm going to blame Jerry then.
and that goes back to when you're talking about thin margins, right? You mentioned that earlier in the show. Those are thin margins. Those are the things that separate good teams, elite teams, championship teams.
Yeah.
It's can I line up?
Mhm.
Can I line the hell up? I just broke the huddle 10 seconds ago. And he told me on 2. And now I can't go to the line of scrimmage and take from what I heard 15 seconds ago, point who I got to block, and then remember, oh, by the way, it is, even if I don't remember, I can just look into the ball. When it moves, I move.
Just like
When
that.
just like that.
Just
When
like
it
that.
moves,
like
you
that.
move.
Just like that.
I got you.
And that goes on just to show you this team, the undisciplined with this team, the areas of this team when you're looking at it and you're going, boy, that's why you don't win. That's why you don't win. You got a good player over here and a great player over there and some good players over here, but it's these small, it's death by 1,000 cuts. And when you begin to add them all up, when you start talking about beating the good teams don't do that.
How do you fix that when that has been a outline problem through multiple regimes? Because it hasn't just been, I remember with Jason Garrett, they struggled with penalties. I remember, obviously, they've struggled with penalties with Mike McCarthy. I feel like this has been a normal thing for them. How do you fix, what is it then?
I think you go back to the culture thing. I think you go back to your head coach being able to have that level of authority to discipline when needs to be disciplined, right? When sometimes you got to tell a dude, get him off the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I know in the Cowboy country, you can't always do that with certain players. But and then it goes even further than that when it goes into the scouting. I want to get good, smart players. I want to get players who are disciplined. I want to get players who can go out there and have attention to detail. That all falls back to me on the shoulders of the head coach. What are you demanding your practices look like? What are you demanding these players to do in practice? Because they ain't just jumping off sides in the game. It's happening in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's happening in practice. The things that you see happen on this team negatively, like the habitual things that you happen, that just don't come out on Sundays. Right. That's been seen. That's been either allowed throughout the week. And it's things like that. When I look at what this team is, that is a microcosm of how undisciplined, a lack of focus that this team carries into these seasons. And that's why I won't believe until I actually see it with my own eyes that you can go out and in the matters when the moments when it matters the most, particularly in the playoffs, and beat the good football team.
What you got, Clarence?
I'm picking back on what you're saying because I think discipline starts with the head coach. You say happened on Jason Garrett, happened on Mike McCarthy. Neither are considered disciplinarians. When we talk about, what you want in the next head coach, I think that's an area, if you want to start with the baseline of what the Cowboys need with this organization. And Mike Vrabel may, because I don't know if Mike Vrabel is a better coach. I know he's not a better coach than Mike McCarthy, but what the Cowboys need, he may be what the Cowboys need because they need that discipline. Because, yes, it starts there. You can say about Jerry Jones, but at some point you need a head coach that's going to demand discipline. Malik
And then
Cook,
if you discipline him, the owner might be like, "Hey, you can't discipline him," but don't worry about that.
No, don't say
I
that.
just want to blame Jerry for
I
it.
understand
No,
that,
but
the
to your point, he's right. I remember vividly when Felix Jones, he fumbled in the game like 2 times. And either it was Garrett or Wade was like, if you don't take care of the ball, you can't play for me. 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, Jerry goes, "Oh no, Felix will be starting next week."
Yes.
I mean, when Zeke got suspended, Jerry took 5 minutes to talk about what a great teammate he was while he was suspended.
Again, an Arkansas guy, all of that.
Cussing out your coach.
But I think that Vrabel's presence will make a difference.
When you think the coach might be able to beat you up, I think there's something there.
I mean, Vrabel's presence will make a difference. But Malik Hooker was like, everybody talking about Zimmer. He says Zimmer wasn't scary as everybody thought he was.
No, he's calmed down. He got older.
Yeah, he's not the same guy as he was.
But Zim said that was one of his regrets. In his presser, he said, one of my regrets
is that I was not myself.
I was not myself.
Well, again, well, that's on you. Why would you not be yourself? And he was talking really about changing the scheme, but whatever, we listened to him. Zimmer does not dog cuss, scream, any of that as he did back in the day. And whether that's himself or whether he's evolved, the bottom line is you were brought here to be Zimmer. Why would you not be yourself? That's a mistake. But just going back to the game, and this all is a microcosm, game-clinching, signaling play. And I know you said it was a perfect game.
Perfect play,
you
perfect game.
hard, played hard, lost in the end.
Great job.
Malik Hooker. You have a chance to win the game, get him off the field, okay?
Stop doing the pose, man.
Win the game, get him out the field. Go get up, Jess. Let's go. Win the game, get him out the field.
Am I wrong?
No,
here? Okay.
y'all stop.
4th and 1.
72
Oh my
or 68.
God.
4th and 1.
Yeah.
Micah crashes down. Leo Fowles doesn't tackle the quarterback. Malik Hooker thinks the play is over. The guy running 30 yards down the field. Oof. Crap. Let me go tackle the guy. That set up the touchdown.
What cuss words y'all think Malik Hooker used on that one?
F.
When he's standing up there and he sees Maris Mariota come out of there, did he use OS, OF? Like which one did he use? What combination did he go with?
I
The
don't
F
know.
word.
The F word?
Yeah. But the bottom line is that's a microcosm of the Cowboys season. You do everything, the little thing, the details gets you in the end, and that's part of the discipline. That's part of being prepared, situation, taking things for granted. All of that stuff happened right there on that play.
What about you, Jeff? What's yours?
I mean, I
Your
really liked
takeaway.
it. That was fun.
No, that can't just be the only takeaway. The football takeaway.
I'd like to know what the random ball boy did to Brandon Aubrey.
No.
That he targeted him with that
Ball
football.
boy.
Well, the ball boy tipped it. He tried to protect.
Oh.
And that hit the cheerleader in the head.
Oh my God.
I think it was a minor deflection, I think. Otherwise,
He didn't watch the film.
otherwise we need to know, why did he target her? He's the best kicker in the world. He's kicking it right where he wants.
No.
Right. I mean, he ain't been butter. What, that wasn't butter. That was margarine. That was margarine.
No, that was a perfect kick. No, they kicked it out of bounds on purpose because weird NFL rules with the new kickoff.
Because the Lions kicker
He
did
was
it
able to
last
kick
night
it out of
too,
bounds and still
right?
have it on the 25 instead of the 40. It was a weird thing.
Well, he kicked every other one out of bounds after that. I mean, out the end zone after that. He tried to hit that girl.
Y'all stop
Maybe
that.
he did.
Was that the one that's dating the other player from the other team? I mean,
That could be the cheerleader that was dating the kicker from the whatevers.
Yeah.
Was it Washington?
yeah, is that what's
Sister.
going on?
Brand, it could have been,
It
Joe.
could have been.
It
Well,
could
he
have
thought
been.
it was. He thought it was.
Okay,
thought
so
it
he
was.
missed by this much.
Yeah.
He was putting it in the
Conspiracy
ballpark.
theory.
One of my biggest takeaways, or something that I find interesting from the game, is that they had Chuma Edoga be inactive because he's like the journeyman. We're just going to try our best to win football games, and they're like, sit him down, let the Guyton play. Our rookie's got to play. And then he went out there and went blown assignment for a sack, penalty, and McCarthy went, get him the hell off the field. Same as last year. Your first-round pick wasn't capable of playing real-life NFL football. And I worry because I feel like I know the Cowboys, and I watched what happened with Mozzie this year. And his career's not over. Mozzie might not be a bust. He played better football in the second half than he did in the first half. Whatever, we'll see. But I hope to God they don't go into this offseason and do what they did with Mozzie, where they go, well, in the second year, he'll be fine. Because all they saw over and over again from their first-round pick is that dude can't play. He can't play NFL football, and I worry that they're going to go, that's okay, though, because in year 2, he'll be fine. Because that's kind of the Cowboy way, and I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
Before you go to the next segment, I just want to offer a little tease as y'all get into Whiteboard Monday.
Magic Marker Monday.
Magic Marker Monday. Excuse me, my bad. Magic Marker Monday. You're talking about the quarterbacks. It's my understanding the Cowboys offered Trey Lance a deal 3 weeks ago, and they turned it down.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it was league minimum, like 2 year league minimum.
And he probably would have played if they'd set the deal before Sunday.
Hey, shout out to the general manager of the Cowboys for costing Cooper Rush $250,000 and claiming that he had no idea, because obviously, why would the general manager have any idea about the incentives of the players under contract of the team? I don't know. Maybe because you're the general manager. Learn to pronounce your player names too one day. Coming up next, who is the backup quarterback next year? Who do you think it should be? It is a Magic Marker Monday right here on the DLLS Cowboys Podcast.
New year, new you. And why not start with what's underneath your feet? What is that? Wood, laminate, vinyl, it's carpet, or what have you. My friends at Empire Today got you down. Get the discount of $350 off new flooring. All you got to do is head over to EmpireToday.com and use our promo code DLLS, and you will get the money off new flooring. They have this thing called the virtual floor design. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture, and instantly you'll see how floors will look in that room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday. You can cut all that out. If you just go over and see our friends at EmpireToday.com, they're going to get you right. You can call them, go online, do whatever it is that you need to do, but go. Don't miss this deal. EmpireToday.com, $350 off. Use our promo code DLS. EmpireToday.com.
Also, shout out to our friends at the East-West Shrine Bowl, which is coming to AT&T Stadium. It's going to be right here in town on January 30th. The East-West Shrine Bowl is the oldest college football all-star game, and it is being held right here at AT&T Stadium. They've been doing this thing since 1925, so this is the 100th version of the East-West Shrine Bowl that benefits Shriners Children's, and its mission is to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. And what you see is some of the country's top college football players play in a head-to-head competition ahead of the NFL draft. So you can put your eyes on guys that you hope that the Dallas Cowboys may be drafting. That'll be right here in town on the 30th at AT&T Stadium. Rico Dowdle played in the Shrine Bowl. Brian Anger played in the Shrine Bowl. Brock Purdy, Isaiah Pacheco, Zay Flowers, bunch of NFL dudes. They play in this game, and you can be there at the East-West Shrine Bowl, the starting point of many noteworthy NFL careers. Just $20 is what tickets start at. Just go to shrinebowl.com to buy those tickets. All right, it is a Magic Micah Monday.
3 M's.
And what we are in search of now is the Cowboys backup quarterback in the year of our Lord 2025.
Did y'all like what y'all saw from Trey Lance yesterday?
It was give and take.
I thought it was the full Trey Lance experience pretty much.
It's just so hard.
Minus, I would have expected an interception or two. But outside of that, I think I got the full Trey Lance experience. You saw a good athlete with a giant arm that can make some throws, and that when he tries to throw it more than 15 yards, he might throw it 30 yards too far, and when he needs to throw it 8 yards, he might throw it 3 yards. And I saw the full Trey Lance experience.
We could dive in.
Yeah, it feels
We could dive in.
Feels like so many things, like so many of the things I think I saw from him are things like you can build upon, but we know who has time.
Right.
And that's the hard part. But there are things about him that he does that you're like, that's a natural thing. That's natural. Like his escapability, just like stepping up through pressure, doing that stuff. I'm like, there's stuff to work through, but how are we going to find time to coach him in that way?
All right, here's our Magic Marker Monday. And you too could participate in this as well right in the chat. Here are your 3 options for Magic Marker Monday. Option number 1 for your backup quarterback for the 2025 Dallas Football Cowboys. Option number 1, Cooper Rush.
Yeah,
he comes back to be your quarterback. He has a winning record as your backup quarterback.
He does.
Option number 2. The often talked about, rarely seen, Trey Lance.
Just saw him.
Option number 3. That human being is not currently on the roster for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, maybe he comes in free agency. Maybe he comes in draft. Maybe he comes from, I don't know, wherever the hell Jerry wants to get him. But those are your options. Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, or he is not here at the moment. And Joe Hoyt, we're going to start with you.
Let's do it. I'll be honest. I liked what I saw.
Same.
I liked what I saw for a guy that.
What is this? You got 2 names. on
Okay,
there.
so it's Trey Lance. It's Trey Lance or Dylan Gabriel in the 7th. Or Dylan Gabriel in the 7th. Or both.
Cheating ass. We don't say that
Dang,
word
bro, he's
anymore,
taller than me.
Clarence.
He's taller than me. Dang, Clarence had some slander out
Don't
there.
talk
Always
about
representing
short
your
people.
people.
I had to go Ducks.
I'm
No,
with
but-
you. I'm with you on Dylan Gabriel. I think he ends up as an NFL starter.
No, but I love your mentality. I've said this for years. I think if you're an NFL team, take a quarterback every 7th round. Every 7th round, and you find out really quickly, okay, this guy can play or not. Oh, well, it's a 7th round pick. Move on next year. Anyways, Trey Lance showed me enough, I thought, yesterday to warrant more development. And I think that's the thing with him. I'll preface this, though, by saying I don't think he'll be back because I think someone else might be willing to give what the Cowboys won't be willing to give in terms of
Over
trying
league
to
minimum?
develop him. Exactly. But I saw Trey Lance, and I saw a guy that actually had progressed from the last time we saw him. The previous time we saw him, he threw 5 interceptions in a preseason game. I said, oh, man, this guy might not have it. The poise was not there. He looks, I mean, kind of under pressure. He looked a little nervous. I thought yesterday he looked poised, and even when he had bad plays, it just almost felt like it was understandable. I almost felt like, okay, this is a guy that has less than 150 career passing attempts in the NFL. You know how many passing attempts Joe Burrow had this year? Over 600. And obviously that's a little bit different. He's a starting quarterback in the NFL full time. But I think that Trey Lance showed enough with his arm talent, with his legs in particular. I think Mike McCarthy showed a little bit of, hey, we can mold the offense around Trey Lance. I think it's worth trying to develop him a little bit more.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, honestly, what would be really fun is if they signed Trey Lance to like a 5-year, $10 million
$10 million
contract.
deal.
Like you make nothing, but you're locked in.
That's
And
crazy.
if you can play, then 2 years from now, we're going to cut our quarterback and you're going to play for peanuts.
He should
Yeah.
fire his agent.
Yeah,
He should
yeah,
fire his agent immediately.
One more note on Trey Lance. 223 days older than Jaden Daniels, who we saw on the same field yesterday.
Older.
But I mean, Jaden Daniels has played a ton of football.
Right,
That's Trey Lance's thing. He just hadn't played football.
100%.
It sucks.
Aisha, 2I.
Oh, okay. Mine is, I know y'all can't read my handwriting, but mine is he's not on the roster.
Mm.
And I'm only saying that I totally agree with Joe. I do think I saw enough from him yesterday and even rewatching the game this morning is that some things he is just going to, like looking off defenders and all that stuff. The cadence clearly was off yesterday with some of the guys. Like that stuff he needs experience doing. But I do think he has things you can build upon. But with what Clarence just said, it kind of throws a monkey wrench in that if he doesn't want to be here, then you probably need to go out.
To stepping.
I'm sorry, with respect, like I think you can upgrade from Cooper Rush. Quite honestly, watching Trey Lance yesterday was far more interesting. It's far more versatile. So is what it is.
I'll go next.
I dare you.
Bet
you
so
won't.
here's my conundrum. And
like
stay
it.
with me.
You wrote too small.
Stay with me.
I like
Stay
it.
with me.
That's too small.
If you guys can't read this,
No.
go to that 2-shot, TC.
You can't. It's-
He has good handwriting.
There we go. Boom.
There you go.
You can't read that. Michael from Pittsburgh is back. Cooper Rush.
Okay.
And here's why. When you're talking about a backup quarterback, most of the time, most of the time you hope that your starter is not out for a long period of time.
Right.
Yeah, if he is, my season's over.
Your
Yes,
season
it
is
is.
over.
This is it.
Right?
You're right.
If the guy's going for 8-9 games, pretty much your season is over.
100%.
But if I'm looking for a guy that can go in 3, 4,
games, yep.
maybe 5 games, what I want, if I'm Michael from Pittsburgh, is I want the guy who can come in and I don't have to really adjust my offense. Maybe I don't go as deep, but if I can get the short, tight timing routes down in the West Coast offense, that gives me an opportunity to win this game. And if I add more pieces to that, when I get the ball into their hands, that gives me a chance to be successful. So for Mike McCarthy's perspective, if I'm going to come back and I need a guy that knows my system, that I know what his strengths and his weaknesses are, and we can put a game plan together that can go out there and win us. If my starter's out for 5 games, can you go 2 and 3?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what
Can
you're
you,
asking
can you go
for.
2 and 3?
Yeah, you're right.
Can
He's
you go
proven he
2
can.
and 3? And Cooper Rush has been proven to do that.
That's right.
He's been
Yeah.
proven enough on this team under this coach that, hey, if necessary, I can go out there and get you some dubs. Go back to that 2-shot, TC.
2-shot.
But if you get a new head coach, the guy is not on the roster.
Yeah.
If you get a new head coach, I don't think Cooper Rush is a good enough football player for another system, for more explosive system. If you're looking for an explosive system, if you're looking for something that's going to drive the ball down the football field, and you're going to try to go, that's going to be the offense that you're looking at. And I'm saying that because I'm praying to God that the next offensive coordinator that we get in here, whether he be head coach or offensive coordinator, that this
Ankles.
guy has his ankles out and his pants are tailored and his iPhone 16 is up to date, but that their offense is a more vertical offense that stretch the ball down the field, that gets layered route that are in the 12, 15, 17, 18-yard range so that you can have more explosive plays so you don't have to get so many first downs and you can put more points on the board because you don't do well in the red zone as it is now. So I want more plays to come from 30, 40, 50 yards out. Cooper Rush, I don't think can really do that. So if they bring back Michael from Pittsburgh, absolutely Cooper Rush is your guy. But if Jerry's hay in the barn has another name tied to it, then he's probably going to bring somebody in that he knows that can run his offense.
I think Trey Lance has a real shot to be the backup, despite the fact
I hope so.
that he's been offered something, I guess, and said no thank you because I'm sure it was just league minimum or whatever. But if he has no market, then he could come on back because I think the one reason it makes sense is I'm going to go back to a theme that I sometimes go back to. Jerry Jones' ego is the size of the equator. And if you re-sign him, then he can justify that he traded for him. Yeah. And Jerry loves nothing more than justifying things Jerry does. That's his favorite thing.
Being right?
Yeah, being right is the most important thing to Jerry Jones by 10 miles. This is what I said. A draft pick
or the
nooch. Because if we got the nooch, I'll check in with him. He signed somewhere. I think he's at practice and stuff, but he's not the one who ships them anyway. He had to tell somebody. They haven't come in yet. The nooch, because then we could have him on the broadcast because he's a friend of mine. So we should bring back Ben DiNucci so that we could have him on the show. You know, like
when you say draft pick,
draft pick.
What round are you thinking about?
Well,
taking that quarterback.
Fourth round, but
the funny thing about that is I do feel like that's the right round. Yeah, is the fourth. The fourth is about the round where you want to get. Because here's my new thing. This is my new thing with backup quarterbacks and quarterbacks in general. They got lucky with Dak, but I think that is the area where you try to get lucky. Their goal with Dak was to have a 4-year backup. Yeah. That was the goal. Mm-hmm. And then, whoopsie, Romo got hurt. And then, whoopsie, Kellen Moore got hurt. And then, hello, Dak played well.
Whoopsie. Jamil Showers wanted to go play safety. Oh.
Yeah. And so, and Jamil Showers, honestly, in Dak's first camp, probably looked better than Dak. But they got lucky. And I think the place where you can get lucky, and at the moment, I have the same name as Joe because I've started watching college tape, but I watched Oregon wide receivers. And while watching them, I was like, holy crap.
Oh, this guy's delivering the ball on time.
Their quarterback is the most accurate thrower I've seen in years.
Such an easy catchable ball.
Every ball is just exactly where it's supposed to be.
Really good.
And he's small, and he's not a great athlete, and he doesn't have a big arm. He's played a bunch of football. He can read a defense, and he can deliver the football. And maybe you get lucky. And if you have a good team, suddenly Brock Purdy's a star. And all I'm asking of you is read it, throw it.
And see, that's where I'm out on Trey Lance. I think that Trey Lance struggles to read defenses.
I agree with that.
And when you look at what he was successful in last night, it was the rollouts, right? It was like, hey, cut half of the field off. You only got really these two options right in front of you. Wow, that's a good component to have in your offense. That can't be your offense.
He has to be, and he can't run a West Coast offense because
that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you're
point,
that's fine. And the sad part that Trey Lance has found himself in, when you lack the experience from your high school, college days, and now you get drafted by a team and they give up on you, no other team is going to be able to put that much time into you because I'm still developing my starter. Yeah. And in this league, no matter how much you want to say give guys reps, ain't that many reps to go around.
That's fair.
Especially when I got to get my guy that I've paid a bunch of money to the reps to get him going for our season. And I think with Trey Lance, the things about reading defenses and stuff like that, I think his accuracy is a little bit all over the place, right? And that's another key component. He could throw what my man saying coming to America.
I don't know.
To throw the ball a mile, can't throw it right there. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You can throw the ball a country mile, but it's a dude wide open, it's 8 feet in front of you, and you throw it 2 feet in front of him. So that's my thing with Trey Lance is you're in a very effed up situation 100%. Because it's going to take someone to truly to believe in you, to give you enough time to get over the fact that you struggle reading defenses and you struggle with the accuracy part.
I think that's the tough part with him is because you look at the guys that have bounced back that were high draft picks, that are doing well. Baker Mayfield, look how much experience he had in college, right? You look at Sam Darnold, a lot of experience in New York and in college as well. You look at Geno Smith, a lot of experience. Trey doesn't have that. But I think for the first time last night, he showed me that he can progress via practice.
Yeah, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I do think that is the thing when it's like it is interesting that he's now been in the league for how long? 4
years.
This was
This
his
is
fifth
4
year
years.
option? Okay, so they turned on the fifth.
Yeah,
So
fifth year
4
option
years in, at some point you stop saying, well, he just needs some experience. Like, you've been here half a decade, damn near. You know, your story's about written unless something weird happens. I think Trey Lance needs to go somewhere where they draft a quarterback in like maybe the first round or maybe the second that they don't know.
XFL.
You can't, because then you don't make any money.
It doesn't exist.
You got money.
If
It's
the
another 3
NFL's
overall pick.
If the NFL is willing to sign you, you're not going to turn
know.
down $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million a year to go play for $70,000.
If they could have a loan program, it would work well.
You can't. It would, and then the team would be like, "But what if my guy gets hurt? You gonna give me salary cap relief? And
That's worth the risk, right?
Work it out. Figure it out." Okay, one final segment coming up in the broadcast day on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, which is, what is this Cowboys coaching search going to look like if it happens? And other coaching searches are already happening. Let's figure out another way that the Cowboys screw things up, shall we? It's next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Also, we appreciate each and every one of you that is here watching. We appreciate if you hit the like button while you're watching because it's good for the algorithm. If we could have that over 100, that's better than having it at 84 right now. We'd like it at 100. 84, Cordero Patterson. 85, Ocho Cinco. Give me another number. Cordero Patterson is so thick. I cannot believe he's
So
still in the
thick.
league. That dude is 270 pounds right now.
Can we cut that out right there?
That dude is
just
so
a-
so
thick.
just a-
So thick.
no pause, no nothing.
But
no.
we appreciate if you hit the like button. We appreciate if you're in the comments. We appreciate if you're subscribed to the channel, all of those things. And we double appreciate if you're signed up to be a diehard at alldlls.com. Maybe you watch a bunch of shows, not just the Cowboy show while you're here, because we do have shows for
93,
all
Gerald McCoy.
of your sports team. There you go. All of your local sports teams, we got them right here. So if you're a diehard of all those teams, sign up to be a diehard. It gets you premium access to our premium written content, premium extra video things, film
99,
breakdowns.
Warren Sapp.
Yeah. Now, who you got for 104? You got to break it into two numbers now,
15, Chris Henry.
right? He's the
Yes.
one who fell out of the truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you sign up to be a diehard, you get access to all sorts of cool stuff.
Oh,
You get a
how I
free
got to
T-shirt.
figure
You
that
get access to
I was gonna
discounts
say.
on merch and events. You get into our
I was-
Discord server,
That's the fastest.
where during the games it's a lot of fun to hang out in there. Plus, we have little other rooms in there where you can talk about all sorts of stuff: video games, wrestling, food, whatevs. All those things you get if you sign up to be a diehard at alldlls.com. So do it, because it'll be lovely. Philadelphia fans trolling Jeff and Double I in the comments of some of these videos is priceless. I mean, I'll go, look, if Philly fans want something, we can do it. If you want the smoke, you can have it from me. Not physically, because my body is broken down and you guys have enough anger to win a fist fight. But we can have a spelling contest because I know the average IQ up there. Okay? We can do that. We can have an anger off. You'll win that.
Brian
But
Anger.
we
I
can
don't
go
know
take the
about that.
SAT tomorrow. Y'all can't spell your names.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, what were we doing in the last segment? I already forgot.
Coaching search.
search.
Oh,
if it happens. If.
Yeah. The coaching search thing is just so ripe for a rant too, but I'm not. This time I'm not. We're not doing double rants in a show. But like the Jets are now doing their coaching search.
Yep.
They're, because they had already fired their coach. Aaron Rodgers fired their coach and then had a terrible season, and he sucks, but he destroyed the organization and made them trade away a premium draft pick for a guy in a lost season because he's a psychotic egomaniac.
What a mess.
But they're interviewing Clarence tomorrow, I think.
You gonna be the head coach?
I mean, it's 11 guys right now. It's 11 guys for the heck. I mean, might as well put me.
You want to be lucky 12?
You could be the minority. You could be the minority.
You know,
You could be the minority
they
interview.
fill that gap
You
already,
could,
but
you
you
could do the
know,
Rudy rule.
yeah, 11 guys. They're just you say tackling the whole backfield. They're interviewing 11 guys, and you look at the decisions that have been made around the league. You look at all the coaching openings, and we have the Jets, New England, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Potentially Dallas, and potentially the Raiders.
Yeah.
the teams that
and the Patriots.
and the Patriots.
Yeah.
Goodness
Some say
gracious.
Did you say
potentially
that?
Miami.
I thought you said New England.
Oh, did he
Okay.
say New
That's-
England?
no, okay. I mean, it's just a lot of
No, he came back.
openings.
His owner said that they're keeping their guys.
But the organizations who had questions have quickly come out and said, we're keeping our guy. The Giants,
Mm-hmm.
the Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we're keeping our guy. Here we go with Jerry. It's going to take a week. He has to evaluate, go through the postseason evaluation process.
No, he doesn't because the hay's in the barn. He already told us that.
No, he said the hay was in the. He tried to explain. Jerry explained that.
That the
That's a
hay
good
is in the
phrase.
barn meant that it won't change my mind this week.
Yes, the
Which
hay's
means
in-
that your
but-
mind is made up. So how are you
Well,
explaining
yeah,
that?
Circles.
nothing can happen against Washington that will impact my decision on the coach. In a sense, the season is already done. I have all the information I need to know, but I still need to go through the process of talking to players and everybody else.
And see, here's what's going to piss me off. I'm going to be honest with you.
Jesse Rand?
Here's what's going to piss me
Let's
off.
get a little too
Jesse
shot on
Rand.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Here's what's going to piss me off. Because if Jerry brings back Mike McCarthy, then you've wasted time again.
Mhm.
If that's the case, let's just make it known. Like, why are we playing around with this whole decision, and I get it, soap opera, 365 days of the year.
Yes.
But hey, it's still going to be a soap opera because we're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, and if you bring, and this is going to piss me off, if you bring back Mike McCarthy, you've wasted more time. You wasted more of our time. You wasted more of your time. You wasted assistants' time. You wasted head coaching time, because if I'm coming back, then let me start making moves to improve my football team. Now you don't have to worry about this thing or hiring coaches, bringing on assistants. Now you can turn your attention to bringing in free agents or signing contracts to guys, right? Let's get this stuff out the way early. Let's not be the last to do every damn thing. We don't have to do that. When most of the time, when you come into a season, you have an inkling of how you're feeling about this coach going into last year of his contract.
Green Bay.
You have an inkling of
He told us.
of what way you're going to go. Now, you get into the season, things go left or right, and that may shift your thought process. But damn it, you know. Stop sitting and straddling the fence. Make a decision for your sake, for your team's sake, for the organizational sake, for your coach's sake. If he's going to be your guy, then let it be known. Let it be known, this is my guy. He's going to be here. We're going to give him a contract. Now, whether you work out the details later on, that's fine. That don't have nothing to do with us.
But Mike wants to be here.
But make it known. This is our guy. This is who we're bringing back. And now he can start the search of, I need to find a new DC. I need to find a new OC. If that's the case that you want to do that, I need to find, because some of your assistants are probably going to get poached, or they may not want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Now I can start finding things to piece together so I can build my football team properly. You wait to do everything last minute, and you think it's because you just have all the right answers and all the things locked down. And then when you end up, even if you make the decision to bring Mike McCarthy back, which I don't agree with, you've wasted valuable time that you could have been using to do other things. And then you're going to go away on spring break.
Yep.
Then you're going to spend time on spring break. Well, hell, you don't need to spend time with family. You've already told us you bought a whole goddamn franchise so you can spend time with your family.
And he was
you
acting.
spend time with them every single day. So don't waste time on spring break with them when you should be doing the people's business, doing the Joneses' business. Get this stuff done. That's the part that's going to piss me off. If you make a decision to bring him back and it takes us a week to find this out, I'm going to be hot.
How about, wouldn't it piss you off even more
If they moved on from him?
if you wait a week to move on from him? And
Either way, I'm
and
gonna
you
be
missed
pissed.
out on opportunities to get guys who are already in the
Yes.
hopper with other teams. I think that would piss you off even more.
That would piss me off as well. And I like what the Jets are doing. Interview everybody.
Right.
Talk to everybody. See as many faces, hear as many ideas, as many thought processes as you absolutely need to
They can trim it down.
make a sound decision. The Jets have failed at this. They've failed at this on many fronts. If I'm gonna get this right, then I want to go out here and make sure that I'm seeing and talking to young candidates, old candidates, new candidates, first-year candidates, guys who've been around 20 years, 30 years. Maybe you could be an offensive analyst. Maybe you could be a defensive analyst. You know, I want to talk to everybody before I make a decision because I want to get this right going forward. Don't just think, oh, I got this, everything going to be cool. I'm sorry.
It's funny, though, and it better be funny.
It better be
funny because, yeah, you like the interviews, getting all this information, parsing through all these candidates, but at the end of the day, it's still Woody Johnson making the decision, the guy that relies on Madden to veto trades. Like, I don't think that's
Allegedly.
who you...
Grandkids could help him out a little bit.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that's the guy you want parsing through all these candidates either. I think what's interesting about if the Cowboys do move on from Mike McCarthy, and, yeah, you're getting a late start on interviewing potential candidates, when Jerry was asked about it last night, it almost seems like he's like, oh, I know who I'd go after. You know, he said that, hey, I've got a list of names I want. I could get anyone that would want to be here. So I think he probably has a list in mind of lowball offers, guys that are trying to get second chances. The Mike McCarthy's 2.0. Hey, maybe Pete Carroll's out there. Maybe he's like, you know what, why don't we run Pete Carroll back one more time, a Super Bowl winning coach? You know, I think that's the frustrating thing for fans is that if they take the time, it might signal that Jerry Jones already has some insight on who he wants.
Yeah.
The hard part is that the truth, I believe, in my heart of hearts, is in the chat from multiple people. I know why they're going to wait a week or 2 weeks.
Right.
Because it's going to be before a playoff game starts.
Yeah.
Right.
And that way Jerry can be the headline even while his team is not playing.
You're
First time
going to
in 4
be the
years.
headline regardless.
Yeah,
That's what
but-
I'm saying.
But we would be done a week from now and we'd be worried about the playoffs.
But he's trying to ruin our day because we're going to be trying to watch the game.
Yeah.
Jeff's going to have to be a couple of beers in.
It's
Emergency pod.
A couple.
I'm just saying. But then we got to do emergency pod.
You're the one who lies about consumption. Look, I
That's
drink
fair.
too much.
That's fair.
Clarence says
I'll
I
be
am
sober.
sober.
Joe may be sober.
I will not
We
be.
can pull it together. We can pull it together for an emergency pod.
Our company doesn't care. We
drink
can
on
be
it.
hammered.
We can drink over there. Okay.
It'll be fine. The Arizona people they couldn't even
Aisha, we getting
make
hammered?
words when they won the Big 12.
TC, can we pull up the super chats? I don't want to miss them before we get out of here. We got a
yeah,
little
good
more
call, good
time
call.
left.
Yeah, we had a thing.
What we got right
For
here
Clarence.
for Casey Williams?
Rule to the Q's.
Oh, there you go.
Rule Casey. Appreciate you.
That's the good bros.
The good bros.
Don't know if you knew that.
Good
I
bros.
do think that the Jets are almost doing it right. Like I
Yeah,
was going to
they're
fight.
close.
I was going to fight Joe earlier until I realized they don't have a GM either.
No,
Because like if you had hired
7
a
interviews.
GM, then yeah, I want to talk. I do want to hire everybody. I want to. If you have worked
But
for
what if
Shanahan,
I'm
I
meeting
want
with my GM, hearing what some of his thoughts? If I'm meeting with 3 GMs and I'm like, all right, these are the 3 guys that I kind of like. Let me hear what they say. And then when I hear what they say and see what kind of flow they're on, and then I meet with these head coaches and I go, okay, these 2 might match. They may work. They may work.
In
But
theory,
that's not that shouldn't be your job to think. It should be, here's the guy who's going to run my team. Come sit next to me. Now let's interview the coaches.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I want you to hire them.
Right,
Not
so when
Jerry Jones or Woody Jones. They're 95 years old.
When I hire my GM, right? I hire my GM, and then I have a conversation with him and say, listen, while I was interviewing everybody, these are the guys that I think I really like, and I think would mesh well from what you were saying.
Yeah.
This is what I think.
But you're
And then he
asking
could
Woody
say,
Johnson.
like, I would know that if we interviewed him.
I
Yeah.
just want.
No,
I want to
you
know.
You're
bring
going
it
to
in.
tell me what I think about a guy?
I
Bring
just
him in
want to know
again.
if the kids going to be on the interview. Are the kids going to
Is
get their
Brick
opinion?
going to be there?
Are the kids
Hey.
going to get their opinion?
Didn't
What's-
Jerry
what's-
Jones' kids say something good about DeMario?
Yeah,
Davis
that's
on
the-
that?
No,
Yeah,
no,
it
no, no,
works.
no,
Yeah,
no, no,
Paxton
no,
did.
no,
Yeah, it
no, no.
works.
Listen,
It
listen,
worked.
don't
It worked.
don't even compare.
Jerry
the
said the
two.
only
No, it
reason I
worked.
drafted
Don't even compare
Overshown
the
is
two.
because
It
Paxton
worked.
liked him.
That's not the only reason. Paxton was actually a teammate. He wasn't going on internet rumors.
Hey,
and
grandkid
ratings.
nonetheless.
It's not even the same.
Grandkid
It's not
nonetheless.
even the same.
So
Jerry got assists from the grandkid.
He got help. They got
got a
scouts.
little insight.
Little insight.
Like you couldn't have gotten
He had
that somewhere else.
sources.
I mean, not but from
sources.
grandkid though.
No, they were
That's
tight.
real
though.
family.
Paxton was tight.
I do think that when, you know what's going to piss me off?
We're gonna be a pissed
It
off
better
show.
piss you off.
We're gonna be a pissed off show.
What's
going
gonna
You know what
forward.
they say? Rather be pissed off than what?
Then the other way.
Pissed off.
No, you can't.
Oh,
We can't say that.
Technically, no.
Well,
Oh.
Can you
I'll
take it back?
explain it
How
later.
can you say?
I'll
it.
explain it to you later.
Explain it
Just
to
know
me.
that you can't.
some
Okay.
people may like that.
So anyway, true. What's going to piss me off is I think that the Eagles are a well-run organization. The year 2029 might be bad for them, whatever. They're a well-run organization that is incredibly aggressive. Their GM knows what he's doing. Their cap guys are great. All these different things. So the guy who's run their cap for the last decade or so, his last year was last year, and he left. But he pointed out that coaching and GM searches, if they're extensive, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of teams don't want to do that. And I think that was about Jacksonville keeping their GM, but I think it applies to the Cowboys.
Fair.
When the Cowboys interview Marvin Lewis for 4 minutes and then Jerry hires a guy, it will be yet another sign that your owner is incredibly cheap, lazy, and has a bunch of other things to worry about. And the fact that he calls himself a GM is embarrassing, and it's a lie, and it's stupid, and it's ego-driven. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's gone through. Be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
Or else, not a threat.
We all silly like the mayor.